Naledi stepped into 11 Madison Park at 7:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day. Black dress, small clutch, hair perfect, everything under control. She was meeting Elliot at 8, his reservation. The maitre d' greeted her with practiced warmth. "Good evening. Reservation name?" "I'm meeting someone, Elliot Chen. 8 o'clock. He checked his list, nodded. "Of course. Would you like to wait at the bar?" She sat, ordered white wine, felt the familiar comfort of compartmentalization settle over her like a second skin. The restaurant was packed, Valentine's atmosphere thick as velvet, couples holding hands across tables, roses everywhere, candlelight making everything look softer than it was. She checked her phone. 7:35 p.m. No messages from Elliot yet. 25 minutes until he arrived. Dinner until 10:30. Home. Then she could text Vesper goodnight before bed. Her scheduling mind hummed along, calm, organized. The bartender wiped down the counter near her, made small talk. "Valentine's dinner?" Naledi smiled. "Yes, with my boyfriend." The word felt true when she said it. Elliot was her boyfriend. In this moment, at this restaurant, on this night, she believed her own compartmentalization. The door opened. Vesper walked in. Naledi's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. He was carrying a painting wrapped in brown paper, disheveled in that romantic artist way, paint still under his fingernails. He shouldn't be here. She'd told him she had a work dinner tonight. He saw her. His face lit up. He walked straight over. "Dee, I know you said work thing, but I finished your painting and I couldn't wait until tomorrow. Had thought I'd surprise you." Her mind raced. Damage control. Fast. She stood quickly, tried to steer him away from the bar. "Vesper, this is so sweet, but I'm actually in the middle of..." The maitre d' approached. "Good evening, sir. Reservation name?" Vesper looked confused. "Oh, I'm just dropping something off for..." He looked at Naledi, saw the panic on her face. "Dee, what's going on?" The door opened again. Indira walked in, elegant in a deep red sari, carrying a small gift bag. 10 seconds later, Fletcher entered behind her, climbing gear duffel on his shoulder, roses in his hand. Both headed toward the maitre d' stand. Naledi's stomach dropped. Indira had told her she was working a hospital shift until midnight. Fletcher had told her he was on a climbing trip upstate. Back Sunday. They were all here. Vesper still stood at the bar beside her, holding the painting. Indira reached the maitre d' first. "Reservation for Kapoor, 8 p.m. Fletcher stepped up behind her. "Morrison, 8 p.m. The maitre d' checked his list. Confusion spread across his face. "I'm sorry, I don't see either of those names. Do you have confirmation numbers?" Indira pulled out her phone, showed him the email. "It says 8 p.m., Valentine's Day, table for 2. Fletcher did the same. "Yeah, mine too. She made the reservation." "Under what name?" They both answered at once. "Naledi Okafor." Indira and Fletcher looked at each other for the first time. Vesper overheard, turned to Naledi. "Wait, you made reservations? I thought you said work dinner." Indira spotted Naledi at the bar, started walking over. "Naledi, there's some confusion with..." She stopped. Saw Vesper standing close to Naledi, too close for strangers. Fletcher followed Indira, saw the group forming. The door opened again. Elliot entered. Tailored suit, orchid in hand, the outline of a ring box visible in his jacket pocket. He walked directly to the maitre d'. "Chen, 8 p.m. My girlfriend should already be here." The maitre d' looked actively stressed now. "Sir, there seems to be some confusion with this reservation." Elliot looked toward the bar, saw Naledi surrounded by 3 people. Relief crossed his face, then confusion. He walked over. "Nali, there you are. I thought maybe..." He stopped, registered the 3 others. Vesper standing very close to Naledi, Indira's body language intimate and familiar. Fletcher holding roses. Elliot's voice went careful. "Naledi, who are these people?" 4 different names crashed through her head. Elliot called her Nali. Vesper called her Dee. Indira used Naledi. Fletcher used Ledge. They were all about to say her name differently. Vesper spoke first. "I'm Vesper, Dee's boyfriend. And you are?" Elliot stared at him. Her boyfriend? Indira stepped forward. I think there's been some mistake. I'm Naledi's partner. Fletcher was putting it together fast. Hold on. We're all here for Valentine's dinner. With her. He pointed at Naledi. The four of them looked at each other, then at Naledi. Other restaurant patrons were starting to notice the commotion at the bar. The maitre d' approached, diplomatic. Perhaps we should move this conversation to a private room? Elliot's face hardened. No. His voice was loud enough that nearby tables went quiet. No private room. You don't get to hide this. He looked directly at Naledi. Everyone here thinks they're on a romantic Valentine's dinner. Let them see what it actually looks like. Naledi tried. Elliot, please, can we just... He cut her off. You made 4 reservations. For the same night. For the same time. Vesper's face showed realization. Oh my God. Indira went clinical. Doctor mode activated. Naledi, how long has this been going on? Fletcher laughed, bitter and sharp. We're on a schedule, aren't we? Which night was I? Fletcher threw the roses on the bar. You know what? I'm done. I don't need an explanation. This is insane. He grabbed his duffel. Naledi reached for him. Fletcher, wait. He pulled away. Don't. Just don't. He looked at the other 3. Good luck with this. He walked out. The door slammed behind him. Silence at the bar. Other diners were fully watching now, not even pretending otherwise. Naledi tried to follow, took 2 steps. Elliot grabbed her wrist. Let him go. You don't get to chase him. Sit down. His voice was cold, controlled. Naledi sat back on the bar stool, humiliation visible on every inch of her face. Vesper stared at her. How many of us are there? Indira's voice came out quiet. 4 reservations, 4 of us. The maitre d' was desperate to contain the scene. Please let me seat you. We have a table available. Elliot didn't hesitate. Fine. Table for 4. He looked at Naledi, since apparently that's what you booked anyway. They were escorted to a table in the center of the restaurant. Not a private corner, not secluded, directly in the main dining room. Other diners pretended not to watch, but they were absolutely watching. Naledi sat, felt every single eye on her. Elliot sat across from her, Vesper and Indira on either side, flanking her like guards. The waiter appeared, visibly uncomfortable. Can I start you with drinks? Elliot didn't look at him. Whiskey? Neat. Vesper. Same. Indira. Water. The waiter looked at Naledi. She couldn't speak. Indira answered for her. She'll have water too. The waiter left fast. Naledi tried her first excuse. I know this looks bad, but I never actually lied about exclusivity. Did any of you ask if we were exclusive? We never had that conversation. Technical truth. Gaslighting energy. Elliot pulled out his phone. You want to talk about conversations? Let me show you conversations. He scrolled. Read aloud. October 15th. You. I'm not seeing anyone else. Are you? Me. No. Just you. You. Good, I like it that way. He looked up. That's pretty explicit. Naledi tried. That was true at that moment. Elliot kept reading. December 3rd. You. I love waking up knowing you're mine. January 8th. You. I've never felt this safe with anyone. His voice broke on the last one. He set the phone down. I was going to propose tonight. The ring is in my pocket. 3 months of planning. Quiet gasp from nearby tables. Vesper stared at Elliot. You were going to propose? Elliot nodded. Vesper looked at Naledi. Did you know? She shook her head. Genuine shock on her face. She hadn't known. Because she'd compartmentalized Elliot so completely, she couldn't see where he was going. Vesper unwrapped the painting, propped it against the empty chair where Fletcher should have been. It was a portrait of Naledi, but fragmented. 4 different versions of her face overlapping. I painted this last week. I thought I was being artistic. Turns out I was being literal. He pointed to each face. This version has your smile when you talk about art. This one has your eyes when you're scared. This one is how you look at me. This one I've never actually seen. Indira leaned forward, studied the painting. That's remarkable and disturbing. Vesper turned to Naledi. You told me I was the only person who really saw you. Was that a lie too? Naledi tried a new excuse. I have so much love to give. Why is it wrong to share that with people who need it? Monogamy is a social construct. I thought you all were more evolved than this. Pseudo-intellectual justification. Elliot's laugh was sharp. Evolved? Ash, you're calling this evolved? Indira's voice went clinical. That's rationalization, not philosophy. The waiter brought appetizers. Set them down. Left immediately. No one touched the food. Indira pulled out her phone. I went back through our messages while we were walking to the table. She scrolled. You text me Tuesday and Thursday nights, always between 8 and 10 p.m., never outside those windows. She looked at Elliot. When does she text you? Elliot checked. Monday and Wednesday, same time window. Vesper. Friday through Sunday for me. Morning texts, evening calls. Indira. She scheduled us, like patients. Naledi's face showed it. She was cornered. Indira continued, voice gentle but relentless. I'm a doctor. I recognize organizational systems for managing complex situations. This isn't love. This is project management. She paused. And I'm wondering what you're managing, or what you're running from. A memory flash hit Naledi, age 12, dinner table, her mother cycling through emotions, tender, touching her face, manic, laughing too loud, rageful, throwing a plate, withdrawn, staring at nothing. 4 different women in 10 minutes. Her father's face, helpless, already leaving in his mind. Present day, Naledi's hands trembled. Indira noticed. Your hands are shaking, pupils dilated, breathing shallow. Indira kept going. Doctor brain assembling data. When did we start dating? Exactly. Naledi's voice came out small. October, a year ago. Indira. October 14th, 3 days after your ethics board hearing. You were shaking when we met. Elliot looked up. Wait, what ethics board hearing? Naledi. It was nothing. A patient filed a... Indira cut her off. A patient filed a complaint about boundary violations. Your supervisor required you to testify. She looked at Elliot. When did you two start? Elliot. March, 18 months ago. Indira to Naledi. What happened in March 18 months ago? Naledi wouldn't answer. Elliot's voice went quiet. Her patient died. Suicide. She called me crying from the hospital. Vesper's understanding dawned. I met her at her mother's funeral 2 years ago. Indira assembled the timeline. Each of us began during a crisis. She looked at Naledi. You don't fall in love. You create containers for trauma. Naledi's defenses crumbled. She didn't have an intellectual argument left. The truth underneath surfaced. I didn't think any of you would actually stay. Her voice broke. I thought if I split myself up, at least some part of me would be lovable. If you saw all of me, you'd leave anyway. Other diners were watching, some with sympathy now. The waiter approached with entrees, saw the emotional devastation at the table, backed away. The restaurant manager approached, professionally concerned. I'm terribly sorry, but we need this table for our next reservation at 9:30. That gives you 45 minutes. Elliot looked at him. 45 minutes for what? The manager looked uncomfortable. To finish your dinner and your conversation. He placed a small dessert menu on the table. Dessert service takes 20 minutes. I'd recommend ordering soon if you'd like it. Implicit timer set. The manager left. Elliot looked at Naledi. 45 minutes. You need to choose. Vesper. Choose what? Elliot. One of us. Right here. Right now. And publicly. Indira. Elliot, that's not... Elliot cut her off. No, she created this public mess. She can make a public choice. He looked at Naledi. By the time dessert comes, you tell us which one of us is real. The rest of us walk away. Vesper and Indira went quiet. Naledi stared at 3 faces. Each one represented a different life, a different version of herself. The clock in the restaurant showed 8:47 p.m., 43 minutes to decide. Naledi looked at Elliot first. His face showed devastation, but also stability, the kind of steadiness you could build a life on. Elliot represented safety, 3 years together, the longest relationship she'd ever maintained. He'd wanted to propose, build a future. Memory flashed. Elliot holding her after her patient's suicide, letting her cry for 3 hours without asking a single question. His steadiness absorbing all her chaos. If she chose Elliot, she got stability, domestic future, conventional life. She got to be Nali, the controlled professional woman. But she lost the wild artistic part Vesper saw, the intellectual depth Indira mirrored, the adventurous freedom Fletcher had offered. She imagined life with only Elliot, married, shared apartment, routine, safe but incomplete. Elliot was watching her calculate. He could see it on her face. His expression hardened. "I can see you doing math. That's not how love works." Naledi's mouth opened. No words came. Other diners still watching, some leaning in to hear. Her eyes moved to Vesper. Artist chaos, paint-stained hands, the way he saw beauty in her brokenness. Vesper represented authenticity. He'd seen her cry, seen her messy, never asked her to be neat. When memory flashed, Vesper painting her at 3 a.m., both of them awake from nightmares, him saying, "Your insomnia is beautiful." If she chose Vesper, she got an artistic life, permission to be chaotic, someone who loved her fragments. She got to be Dee, the raw, unfiltered woman, but she lost Elliot's safety, Indira's intellectual grounding, Fletcher's adventure. She imagined life with only Vesper, unstable income, emotional intensity, no structure, free but unmoored. Vesper saw her hesitation. "If you have to think this hard, you already have your answer." His voice was sad, not angry. The waiter approached with the dessert menu, set it down, retreated fast. Naledi looked at Indira, clinical compassion, doctor's hands, the way she understood Naledi's psychology without judgment. Indira represented understanding, the only one who might actually comprehend why she did this. Memory flashed, Indira holding her hand during a panic attack, using medical language to ground her. "Your amygdala is hijacking your prefrontal cortex. Breathe with me." If she chose Indira, she got intellectual partnership, someone who saw her pathology as treatable, not damning. She got to be Naledi, full name, full person, seen completely, but she lost Elliot's conventional future, Vesper's artistic wildness, Fletcher's escape. She imagined life with only Indira, clinical conversations, therapeutic relationship dynamics, always being the patient, understood but pathologized. Indira spoke softly. "I can't be your therapist and your partner. If you choose me, you'd have to actually be well. Can you do that?" Naledi didn't know the answer. Then she realized something. Fletcher had already chosen. He'd walked out, made the decision for her. She thought about what he'd represented. Escape, adventure, the part of her that wanted to run. Memory flashed. Fletcher on a mountain ledge with her, teaching her to climb, saying, "Sometimes the only way forward is up." Fletcher represented the woman who didn't choose, who kept running, kept fragmenting, never integrated. His absence was its own answer. By walking out, he'd shown her the cost of staying fragmented. She couldn't choose him because he'd already unchosen her, but his choice had been the freest one. Elliot noticed her looking at the empty chair. He's not an option anymore. Vesper. Maybe that's a smart play. Indira. Running doesn't solve fragmentation. It deepens it. The manager approached. "Dessert order?" Naledi looked at the 3 faces, sooner than at the dessert menu. 4 options listed. She laughed, bitter and broken. "There are 4 desserts on the menu." Elliot, Vesper, and Indira looked at the menu. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, lemon. 4 flavors, 4 partners, 4 versions of herself. Naledi's voice came out steady now, clarified by impossibility. "You're asking me to choose which part of myself gets to exist. The rest die." She looked at each of them. "Elliot, you want Nali, the stable one. Vesper, you want Dee, the chaotic one. Indira, you want Naledi, the whole complicated one." She paused. "And Fletcher wanted Ledge, the running one. He already figured out none of us are real." Elliot, "So what are you saying?" Naledi, "I'm saying I can't choose, because there is no me underneath these 4 women. There's just the fragments." Indira's doctor brain activated. That's dissociative identity disorder. Naledi, that's diagnosable. Naledi nodded. I know, I've known for 2 years. Other diners were fully listening now. Some had their phones out, recording. Public confession becoming a viral moment. Elliot stood. So you're choosing none of us? Naledi. I'm saying I don't know how to be one person. My mother fractured and it destroyed her. I fractured and it... She looked around the table. Destroyed you. Vesper stood. This is cowardice. You're hiding behind a diagnosis. Naledi. Maybe, or maybe I'm finally being honest. Indira stayed seated. If you can't choose, then you're choosing fragmentation. That's the worst option. Naledi looked at her. What if it's the only option I have right now? The manager returned. I'm sorry, Anna, but we do need the table. The clock showed 9:27 p.m. 3 minutes until the reservation ended. Elliot pulled the ring box from his pocket, set it on the table, didn't open it, just left it there. This was going to be your future, with me. One version of you. He walked away from the table. Vesper looked at the painting leaning against the chair. Left it. Keep it. Maybe one day you'll see yourself clearly. He walked away. Only Indira remained seated. She pulled out a business card, wrote on the back, handed it to Naledi. Dr. Keating, she specializes in dissociative disorders. I can't be your partner, but I can help you find actual help. Indira stood, touched Naledi's shoulder. Integration is possible, but only if you choose it. She walked away. Naledi sat alone at the table for 4, ring box in front of her, Elliot's future. A painting beside her, Vesper's vision, business card in her hand, Indira's solution, Fletcher's absence, the escape route, 4 desserts menus still on the table, other diners watching, some with pity, some with judgment. The waiter approached cautiously. Miss, would you like anything? Naledi looked at the dessert menu. 4 flavors, 4 choices, 4 versions of herself. She opened her phone, 4 different calendar apps, 4 different contact cards for herself. Her finger hovered over the Merge Calendars button. If she pressed it, all 4 schedules would collapse into one. All 4 identities visible simultaneously. Integration or annihilation? The manager approached. Miss, I'm sorry, but... Naledi stood, took the ring box, the painting, the business card, left cash on the table for the meal no one ate. It walked toward the restaurant exit. The door opened. Winter night air rushed in. She stepped outside, phone still in her hand, finger still hovering over the merge button. Behind her, a restaurant full of couples enjoying Valentine's dinner. Ahead of her, a dark street, city lights, infinite possibility or infinite fragmentation. She looked at the phone screen, 4 versions of herself staring back from 4 different profile pictures. A question formed on her lips. If I merge them, will any of me survive? Her finger millimeters from the button. Freeze on her face, finger hovering. No resolution. Comment part 2 if you need to see what happens when she presses that button. I'm only writing the next part if people are actually invested. Tell me you're here.